I'm curious.
I'd like to call this meeting of the Princeton City Council to order. Clerk, call the roll.
Mayor Mabry.
Here.
Councilmember Newman.
Here.
Gomez.
Here.
McCall.
Here.
Gillespie.
Here. Would you please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Now we're going to go ahead and go to public comment period. And before we go to Victoria, let's see, is there anybody in the audience like to speak to the council? We'd like to have you limited, possible, to 3 minutes, and you can speak at the beginning of the meeting as well as at the end. Anybody from the public? Okay, Victoria, come on up if you would, please. Victoria, yes, our tourism director.
Hello. I just wanted to let you all know that I'm sure you've probably seen on the website and things, but that the Princeton Public Arts Commission Community Art Grant Program is open. We're taking applications until May 31st. The commission created this program because we get conversations throughout the community for people who are wanting to do designs on their buildings or specifically murals. But this would also be open to really any kind of public art, sculptures or anything, but it just connects the commission then to any of these projects that are going on in town. Then we can kind of vet them as well, so it's like good for both parties. So if there are any businesses in town that you guys have talked to that would be good candidates for this, please share that these are open. You can download them through the city website. We also have printed copies here available. Same goes for the tourism grants. Those are open now and are due on May 1st. Any questions on either of those?
The artwork in the murals, is there any parameters on that? Is it historic artwork or could it be anything? I'm thinking like a wall dog sort of thing from maybe Q1.
Yeah, I think that that's kind of why we wanted to do something like this. I would say that both would fall. I don't know. Do you have any comments?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to come down to the strength of their application and how good the artwork looks. And, refurbishing a mural would certainly... Is that what you're referring to, like bringing back like a historical mural? Like,
I'm talking about, historical, some of the ghost signs we've seen around here, some of the old advertising, and you can look back historically and see some of the old advertising. Not that it would be current, but it's interesting because it's historic.
Yeah.
Or I don't know if you're just talking flower murals, but I hope it's all things that are in good taste.
Absolutely. That's like the whole goal of this application would be that we can, because we see things go up in town and, sometimes we're like, oh, they should have come to our commission for something like that. Mm-hmm. So this is a way to kind of connect with the businesses that way. So there could be a business that might want to put something like on the back of their building just to draw, like if they use a rear entrance in the parking lot, say for instance over here, or I mean a lot of them want to do some kind of like photo op. That's what we've heard so far. So yes, they will definitely be evaluated by the commission before anything's decided. So.
Any other questions, comments from the council?
What? Release party? Oh, we are going to do a concert lineup reveal on April 23rd to announce the concerts that will be down on Main this year at Coal Creek.
Good. If you need help tapping a keg, let me know. I've done it once before.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, sure. You're an expert. I've got it down pat, right?
I'd like to see that.
Yeah, right. Right. I'll bring my cordless drill. Victoria, thank you very much. Any other comments, Council? Otherwise, we're good. Victoria, if you want to sneak out of here, go ahead and head home. We appreciate your efforts on that.
All right. So you're...
So what we're going to do, if we could, we're going to add this on the under public comments, which certainly is not. It's just a good spot to put this in. So, as many of you in the room are aware that Mayor Keith Kane had passed away on Friday, 79 years old. Keith, of course, was our mayor for 16 years, I believe, 12 years, and then a council member for 7 more. There you go. So 19 years service. Okay, very good. And he was obviously a businessman with Princeton Ready Creek. His wife and him had Flowers by Julia, and they still do, of course. And basically, he was a supporter of not just Princeton, but all of Bureau County. First, we want to extend our sincere condolences to Julie Kane, his wife, to their 3 sons, Eric, Mark, and Kyle, and to his grandchildren and his great-grandchildren. I've asked Pete Nelson tonight to come up and say a few words. Pete worked with Keith, and they traveled to China together as well at one point for trade missions.
And we came back.
And came back, that's right. So with that said, we're going to get Pete up here. He can give a nice word on Keith Kane. Please, Pete.
Well, when Ray asked me to do this, I quickly learned that it's impossible to sum this guy up. There's just so many things that he was involved in, and he was passionate about, and the people he touched is just infinite. And the story always goes that he knows half the people in this county, and he's related to the other half. So he knew everybody. That's basically the way it was. There's nothing that's fooled him at all. But so I'll read this little thing I put together. It's incomplete as it is, but it is what it is. So as Ray said, Keith died Friday at the age of 79. This job is impossible because Keith was a person always in motion, mostly to find ways to solve all types of problems. So while most of the citizens were sleeping, Keith was at work scheduling raw materials for ready-mix concrete, or perhaps out watering street flowers at 2 a.m. He always did it at 2 a.m. No person could entirely capture what Keith was up to. Whatever he was up to, it was in service to one or more people. Keith served on the city council for 7 years before he was elected for 3 consecutive terms as mayor. He was a focused mayor and was skilled at obtaining consensus from the council on many important decisions. He also had a sense of humor that would help diffuse contentious situations, although not all the time. Keith was open to investigating anything that could bring new investment to the city, such as employing the city's first city manager, a tax increment financing district, a technology park, a business improvement tax referendum, a retail business loan program, and utility rate incentives, all of which contributed to real job formation and investment under his leadership. In 2005, Keith ventured to China at the invitation of the Illinois Department of Commerce and the Office of Trade and Investment. The intent was to recruit businesses in China to locate in Princeton, if you can believe that. Strangely, there were a lot of people in China that were anxious to come to a town this small, as long as there was a nurturing environment. And we could hold up against any other cities that were on this same trip. So it made sense at that time. I mean, China was reaching out all over the world for new ways to invest. At the time, China was a leader in foreign investment. It was very interested in nurturing China and U.S. partnerships. This was Keith's first international flight. It wasn't like a 3-hour flight to Mexico or a 7-hour flight to London. It was a 16-hour nonstop flight to Hong Kong. In China, anyone with the title of mayor was considered a true rock star. So at you can remember that one. So at banquets and large business meetings, Keith was routinely segregated from the Illinois delegation in order to sit at the table of honor with the China hosts, none of whom spoke English. Further, he was totally in the dark as to what was on the menu. So at one evening's banquet included smoked duck tongue, goose intestines in gravy, sautéed pig's ear, and deer hoof. But the dessert included horse liver and plum sauce. So you're saved there. Keith went heavy on the bread and butter, and afterwards hightailed it to the Haagen-Dazs store near the hotel. Although nearly petrified, Keith gave a welcoming speech in front of hundreds of China developers and entrepreneurs. His speeches were translated so the audience was aware of the content. He represented Princeton very well in the cities of Hong Kong, Guangzhou, Hangzhou, Beijing, and Shanghai. Outside of his duties with the city, Keith and wife Julia have been among the most generous people in the community. They supported many organizations and causes. Not only financial support, but also emotional support for those who were suffering. They opened their home to Festival 56 actors each year and made lifelong relationships as a result. They also hosted overnight visits by our members of Congress like Adam Kinzinger, Jerry Weller, and others. The Cranes have a way of making anyone feel like family. There's really no end to the list of ways our community benefited from the life of Keith Kane, whether it be from infrastructure improvements to sharing his ready-mix crews to help with homestead preparations, to lifting a friend from depression. We'll never forget his service. And I could go on and on, but I just had to stop somewhere. So he'll be greatly missed, and he made an impact and somebody to emulate. You know. I guess that's it. Thanks, folks. Folks, see you. I'm here all week, right?
Thanks, Pete. We appreciate that. So, I would like to just sum this up by saying who Keith King was. I'll say this: Keith cared about his family, his community, and his country. President Teddy Roosevelt in 1910 gave a speech, and I'm going to just repeat this speech just briefly, and I think this summarizes who Keith King was. And Teddy Roosevelt's speech is, "The man in the arena. It is not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles, or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes up short again and again, because there is no effort without error and shortcoming, but who actually does strive to do the deeds, who knows great enthusiasms, the great devotions, who spends himself in a worthy cause, who at the best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, and who at the worst, if he fails, at least fails by daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls that neither know victory nor defeat." So we'd like to know that we all know that Keith King was definitely in the arena, and so I just say peace be to the memory of Keith King. Thank you. Okay, now we're going to go. We have 3 sets of minutes. We're going to go ahead with the first set of minutes, please, Jerry.
I move that we approve the minutes from our Princeton public hearing on March 16th, 2026.
Motion second. Is there any questions or comments concerning those minutes? Seeing none, clerk call the roll.
Councilmember Newman.
Aye.
Gomez.
Aye.
McCall.
Aye.
Zaleski.
Aye.
And Mayor Mabry.
Aye.
I move that we approve the minutes from our regular council meeting on March 16th, 2026.
Second. Motion second. Is there any questions or comments concerning those minutes? Seeing none, clerk call the roll.
Councilmember Newman.
Aye.
Gomez.
Aye.
McCall.
Aye.
Zaleski.
Aye.
And Mayor Mabry.
Aye.
I move that we approve the minutes from our special budget review meeting on March 23rd, 2026.
Second. Motion second. Any questions or comments concerning those specific minutes? Seeing none, clerk call the roll.
Councilmember Newman.
Aye.
Gomez.
Abstain.
McCall.
Aye.
Zaleski.
Aye.
And Mayor Mabry.
Aye. Now we're on to our invoices with City Clerk Janet Henning.
In the Department of Accounts and Finances, we have $46,943.05. Department of Streets and Public Improvements, $76,443.25. Department of Public Safety, $166,287.98. Department of Public Property and Utilities, $193,056.71, with a grand total of $482,730.99. Mayor, council members present have confirmed the reviews of all invoices, and they're now submitted for disposition.
I move that we approve the invoices as presented.
Second. We have a motion and second. Is there any questions or comments concerning those invoices? Seeing none, clerk call the roll.
Councilmember Newman.
Aye.
Gomez.
Aye.
McCall.
Aye.
Gillespie.
Aye.
And Mayor Mabry.
Aye.
Next on the agenda, we have ordinance O-26-007, an ordinance approving an agreement for purchase of property commonly known as 526 North Chestnut Street, Princeton, Illinois. This is the second and final reading.
I move that we approve ordinance O-26-007.
Second. We have a motion and a second. Is there any questions or comments from the council concerning that? If we could, Michael, if you would just give us a quick, this is the second reading, but just where we're at on the timeline. If this gets approved tonight, which I'm sure it will be, where are we at then with this project?
The existing owner has already signed the deed to deed it over to us. So as soon as this passes, we would have the authority to sign and take ownership of that property within the week. Yeah.
And then what, Michael, where do we go from there?
We're going to have a couple of our local connections check out the house, and we've already had a walkthrough, and the structural analysis came back, actually in much better condition than we thought. So that's why we went this route rather than demolish a nice old house that it's sad right now, but it is worth saving. So we'll have to get that cleaned out. It'll, maybe we think we have a guy who will do it as long as he can keep everything in the house. Or we'll pay a little bit to have that, and then we'll sell the property to someone who will fix it up, so we can control who the buyer is and make sure that it's a good person getting back into that neighborhood that's been long plagued. But
Excellent. Good.
Good question, Jerry. Any other comments from the council? Okay, long time coming. You've been wrestling with this for about 4 years, 5 years.
I've only been here for 2 years.
Okay, well, you inherited the wrestling match. With that said, clerk call the roll.
Councilmember Newman.
Aye.
Gomez.
Aye.
McCall. Gillespie.
Aye.
And Mayor Mabry.
Aye.
Next on the agenda, we have ordinance O-26-008, an ordinance amending the City of Princeton, Bureau County, Illinois budget for the fiscal year commencing May 1, 2025 and ending April 31, 2026. This is the second and final reading.
I move that we approve ordinance O-26-008.
Second. We have a motion and a second. Is there any questions or comments from the council concerning that? Seeing none, clerk call the roll.
Councilmember Newman.
Aye.
Gomez.
Aye.
McCall.
Aye.
Gillespie.
Aye.
And Mayor Mabry.
Aye.
Next, we have ordinance O-26-009, revising the fair solar credit effective May 1st, 2026. This is the first reading.
I move that we advance, excuse me, I move that we advance ordinance O-26-009 to the second reading.
Second. We have a motion and a second. Is there any questions or comments? We go through this about, once a year, Jeff?
Every year, yeah.
Every year. So we're just making it clear what we're paying back for those solar credits.
Correct. For the excess energy produced.
There you go. The folks have solar panels in our city limits. If there's no questions or comments, clerk call the roll.
Councilmember Newman.
Aye.
Gomez.
Aye.
McCall.
Aye.
Gillespie.
Aye.
And Mayor Mabry.
Aye.
Next, we have ordinance O-26-010, an ordinance annexing real estate pursuant to 65 ILCS 5-7, 1 through 8. This is for Jonathan and Julianne Mabry. This is the first reading.
I move that we advance ordinance O-26-010 to the second reading.
Second. We have a motion and a second. And Michael, if you would explain what's going on with that, and I'll be abstaining for this no matter what you said, so go ahead.
Sure. This is just a portion of real estate being annexed in to serve electricity to a new customer. It's over on East Thompson Street. That's really all there is to it. Maybe Jeff or Jonathan is here as well. They can answer any other questions you might have.
But you're not annexing the entire house.
Correct.
I'm sorry, what did you say?
Not annexing the whole house. Just the
Well,
property.
access to the utilities. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Is that electric and sewer both with water, or just
I don't believe it's sewer.
electric?
Yeah, electrical.
Okay. This is residential or commercial? Residential.
Any further questions, comments from the council? Okay. Seeing none, clerk call roll.
Councilmember Newman.
Aye.
Gomez.
Aye.
McCall.
Aye.
Gillespie.
Aye.
And Mayor Mabry.
Abstain.
Next, we have ordinance O-26-011, an annual budget of ordinance for fiscal year 27. This is the first reading.
I move that we advance ordinance O-26-011 to the second reading.
Second.
The motion second. Teresa, if you would, just expand on that, please.
Sure. The special meeting we had last was to review the budget proposal. We are looking at total revenues of a little over $30 million and total expenditures just shy of $30 million at $29.9 million, with a net in the positive of $367,485. Within that budget, we have what I'll call the major projects or capital projects of little over $4.2 million. Of that $4.2 million will include the $1.8 and some change million for the fire expansion. That's, as you now see, is taking shape. And then some other significant projects under here, like the north of I-80 loop that we've been trying to get done for electric, and that's at $500,000. So there's some bigger, substantial projects going into the next budget. The debt payments for this budget that we're currently in, we were at $2.3 million. We'll be down to $2.15 million in debt payments, and we'll be down to $12.3 million remaining in our debt. So we're getting there. That's the positive. We'll be down to 13 total payments for this next year. We had one expire, or not, that's not the right term. What do you call it? Retired. That sounds better. This year, next year, at the end of the fiscal year, we'll have 2 more fall off. So that's great. We're getting there. Any questions on sections of the budget that you guys have thought of since?
Off the top of your head, Teresa, how much will we be able to invest in the streets?
It'll be around about $700,000.
Okay. Wow, that's great.
We'll be meeting with Chamberlain to finalize the projects and the estimated costs on those, so those can get out for bid pretty soon. So we should know that. Between MST and street tax, the tax we bring is usually around $700,000.
Perfect. That's great.
And then some, because there's always some unexpected.
So any additional questions or comments from the council? So Teresa, you've got built in about $300,000 of fudge factor. Is that what you've got? Okay, fudge factor, all right.
It's not much. I mean, it seems like there's a cushion there, but it's not much. So
I got it. It's salt on the popcorn. I understand. There's not much there. Okay, any additional questions, comments? Always clear call the roll.
Councilmember Newman.
I approve the ordinance with the exception of $20,000 in the Economic Development Fund going to the Chamber of Commerce.
Gomez.
Aye.
McCall.
Aye.
Gillespie.
Aye.
And Mayor Mabry.
Aye. Thank you. Now on to the board appointment, please.
Oh, well, let's not skip the resolution.
Oh, I'm sorry. The 1 mile run.
Next on the agenda
Holy smokes.
is Resolution R-26-008, IDOT permit for road closure for the Princeton 1 mile road race.
I move that we approve the resolution R-26-008.
Second.
Motion and second. Wow, now it's me having to skip that. Tom, would you like to say about this? This is one of your big projects. Year number 2, right?
Second year for it, and Chamber is putting it on, and it will end at Shrimp Fest. So just bring more people into town and showing off Main Street.
Great. Super. And we all can participate. There was last year when I watched, there was walkers too, fast walkers, right?
Yep. Yeah, you want to sign up now?
I'll make a commitment to that. I got
Hopefully do it, but if it's Kenny's vehicle.
I can't use my gator. Okay, no. All right. We'll jump in there. I'm looking forward to it. I'll help with that. Okay, with that said, now I think we're ready for to call roll.
Councilmember Newman.
Aye.
Gomez.
Aye.
McCall.
Aye.
Gillespie.
Aye.
And Mayor Mabry.
Aye.
Now,
Yes. Okay, Janet, thank you.
I move that we appoint to the Bicycle and Pedestrian Committee Adam Hellman to fill an open seat ending on June 30th, 2027.
Second.
Motion second. Any questions or comments concerning about that appointment? Seeing none, clerk call the roll.
Councilmember Newman.
Aye.
Gomez.
Aye.
McCall.
Aye.
Gillespie.
Aye.
And Mayor Mabry.
Aye. Okay, now we're on to our city manager report, please.
In your packet is the monthly reports for January and February for the City of Princeton's financial information. We reviewed these a couple meetings ago, and that you could see things were where they were expected. So this will get us up through February. We'll have March and April yet to get us caught up to where we are here shortly. So. Also included in there is your fire pension report for February of 2026. And then I do want to touch on one thing real quick with the construction that's happening next door, we'll call it. They did tear out the sidewalk for the handicap entrance. So we now have partial dirt there. So we will be redirecting people to the back of the building if you need handicap access to the building, and we'll move the signs that are out front here for handicap parking to the back, and we'll have a couple spaces reserved back there for handicap accessibility. If they need to get in the back door, we'll get this out there to the public, but they'll have to buzz in to get in. So we don't have a lot usually that come in that way, but we definitely have, we've got the cameras, so we can kind of keep an eye on the entrances too. So we'll get the information out to the public, though. I guess we didn't think about that sidewalk getting tore out that quickly today, so we'll just have to have everybody excuse our mess for a while. But any questions on the project out there? Anything?
You listed everything, all the shrubbery and everything got to be located.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. That's great.
We did save the stone, I guess you call that flagstone?
Yeah, slabs of stone.
About 50 of those. We did save those to use throughout town at some of our other properties. Some of the plantings, we were able to save some of it, but some of the shrubs are just too established to be able to save. But that was the sad part. I think the only thing left is the memorial. It's still sitting out there, so I think they're a little nervous to take that out.
Can't the firefighters just pick that up and move it? No? We tried.
12-man lift.
I didn't want anybody hurt.
Yeah.
Teresa, is that it?
Yeah.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Under the mayor's report, I'm going to read a proclamation. Whereas April 11th, 2026 marks the 58th anniversary of the passage of the U.S. Fair Housing Laws of the Civil Rights Act of 1968 as amended, which enunciates a national policy of fair housing without regard to race, color, creed, national origin, sex, familial status, handicap, and encourages fair housing opportunities for all citizens. And whereas the City of Princeton, Illinois, as well as the Illini Valley Association of Realtors, are committed to highlight the fair housing law of the Civil Rights Act of 1968 by continuing to address discrimination in our community, to support programs that will educate the public about the right to equal housing opportunities, and to plan partnerships efforts with other organizations to help assure every American of the right to fair housing. Now, therefore, I, Raymond Mabry, Mayor of the City of Princeton, do hereby resolve that April 2026, being Fair Housing Month, began a year-long commemoration of the U.S. Fair Housing Law and urge all citizens to wholeheartedly recognize this celebration throughout the year. Signed, Ray Mabry. The second thing I just wanted to give to the council, I know that Teresa had told us during the budget meeting that one of her challenges to work with is our health insurance costs. And so I thought Teresa and Janet put together a real simplified summary, so there's for each of us to be thinking about this. we'll pass that down, and there's a copy for John, and I think yours is in there too, Teresa. Wait till each council member gets this. So obviously, we want to continue to provide good benefits for our full-time employees. What kind of drives this home is, though, we take, for example, the first page is the family. If a family is fully enrolled, it's a total of $31,387 a year, and that could potentially go up here after January 1st, 27% to $39,862. If it's an employee with a spouse, it's now currently $21,610 currently, and that'll go up to $27,444. On the second page, you'll see where it's an employee with a child, and that currently is $20,000, and that could go up to $25,485. And then an employee only, a sole employee only, is $10,215 currently, and it's going to be going to $12,973. I bring that up tonight as you council members to be thinking about that as we are challenged with trying to continue to offer good, wholesome benefit package. But when you think about a family, it could possibly go up to $39,800 for health insurance. I guess I haven't priced health insurance lately. It shows when you're on Social Security, Medicaid. So what's your thoughts there, Jerry?
No, I think that health insurance is vital. I'm fortunate enough to benefit from that from my employer when I retired, so I realize the value, and I've experienced a lot of expenses in medical aid these last couple of years, so God bless it. I think it's just unnecessary evil.
I understand when these premiums just start this easy.
Yeah, they're high.
Any other comments from the council? Otherwise, you can be thinking about that.
I was going to say, I've been getting that with the past years with the county at the time when the employee, because the last couple of years was covered by the county or the health department. Before that, we still had to pay between $2,000 to $4,000 depending on which plan we had, and spouse we had 17 to 20 grand. Family, it was even worse. So. And that's been like that for the 20 years that I've been over at the county. So we ended up getting policies to be able to go ahead and get my family covered until the Affordable Care Act came and kind of triple and quadrupled everything.
Thank you, Hector. Any additional comments from the council? Otherwise, we think about that. Very good. All right, let's go now to any old business. We always throw in the e-bikes and scooters, and that's still on hold on that. Just working on that. And then the THC infused beverages, we're still on hold. Is that federal level you said on that? Okay. Is there any new business for the council? Is there any additional public comment from the council? Okay, seeing that, if you would, what we're going to do is Jerry's going to go ahead and Geraldine have something? No? Okay, didn't know. There's something back there. Okay, we're going to go ahead then and go into executive session after this. If you have any questions or concerns, you can talk to us for just a minute or two, then we go back into executive session to discuss personnel. So, very good. Jerry?
I move that we adjourn our regular meeting this evening and retire into executive session under Illinois statutes to discuss personnel issues. Our next regular council meeting for Princeton will be on Monday, April 20th, 2026 at 6 o'clock at City Hall.
Second.
Motion second. Third call roll.
Councilmember Newman.
Aye.
Gomez.
Aye.
McCall.
Aye.
Gillespie.
Aye.
And Mayor Murphy.
Aye. Thank you for attending. This meeting is adjourned.